Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Mr. Sexton. We're going to do a quick review for lesson 12 in your packet. This is mini lesson 12. All right. And all it is another, it's another opportunity to rehearse standard algorithm multiplication, only this time we're going to do 3-digit factors by 2-digit factors. So you're going to get a lot of questions, a lot of problems that look like this. The first one on your page is actually 529 times 65. If you look, that's actually the first problem on the page. Let's take a look at that together. Now, just like when we did 2 by 2, we're going to take turns multiplying these two digits of the second factor by the first factor. Okay? And we are going to have a total of 2 partial products because I have 2 digits in my factor here, and then we'll add them all up at the end. Okay? So, for starters, let's just do 5 times 9. Now 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to come down here and I'm actually going to give myself some space here so that I can put some numbers up here if I need to. 5 times 9 is 45 ones, which is a 5 in the ones place, and then it's a 4 in the tens place, isn't it? Then 5 times 2 is 10, but this is actually 5 times 20, isn't it? 5 times 20 is 100. But if we say 5 times 2 tens is 10 tens, then I get that, right? A 1 over in the hundreds place. Now if I have 5 times 5 hundreds, I'm going to get 25 hundreds. Okay? And I'm done with my 5. Now notice I've got these are the ones, these are the tens, these are the hundreds, and those are the thousands places. I have to be very careful with these that I keep all of my place values lined up carefully, or else no matter how good my math is, at the end the addition is going to all come apart. It's not going to work. Okay? So now I'm ready for the second digit, and it is 6 times 9. Now remember, that's really a 6 in the tens place. So really it's 60 times 9. But, as we've said before, if I just put a 0 there, because I know whatever it is going to end in 0, then I can ignore that fact and just call it 6 times 9, and it's going to work out right. So 6 times 9, that's going to be, what, 54? Yeah, that seems right to me. So I've got a 4 there, and then a 5 is going to get added to the hundreds place, right? Now 6 times 2 is 12, but this is 6 tens times 2 tens. That's going to be 12, and then 10 times 10 is 1200. That's why 6 times 2 is 12, and the 1 gets added to the thousands place. Then finally 6 times 5, or in this case 6 tens times 5 hundredths, it's going to be 30 hundredths. Or, what is that? That's 35,000, right? Now I've got 2 digits in my second factor, and I've got 2 partial products, plus some additional stuff that's going to get added in. Let's go ahead and do that now. So then keeping my place values lined up carefully, I'm going to do 5 plus 0. That's 5 ones. 4 tens plus 4 tens is 8 tens. Looks like an S. Let's make it look more like a 5. All right. And then 5 plus 5 is 10, 11, 12, 13. That's going to give me 13. 2, 3, 4, and 0 is 4, and then 3 makes 3. So that's going to give me a final complete full product of 34,385. Now, when you start multiplying 3 digits by 2 digits, the numbers get pretty big pretty fast, don't they? That's to be expected. Okay? Now, let's go down a line, the next line down, and look at 616 times 41. That's the next column down. We can work through that one together as well. Again, I'm going to take each of these two factors and I'm going to take turns multiplying them by the 616, right? I'll start over here. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. And that makes sense because 616 times 1, 616, right? We knew that. But I'm done with the 1 now. Now I'm going to go to the 40 times 6. But I don't want to do 40 times 6. It'll make my head hurt. So instead, I'm just going to put a 0 there. And now I can just call it 4 times 6. So 4 times 6 is, well, that's 24, isn't it? I'm going to put the 2 right there. 4 times 1, that's 4. And then 4 times 6 is just 24 again, isn't it? Wait a minute. Yeah, 24. Like that, right? Now I've got my 2 partial products. I can go ahead and add this whole thing up. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 1 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. Plus this 2 would be 12. 4 plus 1 is 5. And then just 2. So this one's going to be 25,256. Right? You guys want to see one more before I turn you loose? Let's go all the way down to the bottom of the page. Let's look at 236 times 98. Okay? Now, again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply 236 by 8 for our first partial product, right? Then we're going to multiply 236 by 90 for our second partial product. Then we're going to add the whole thing up, right? So what's 8 times 6? That's a tricky one. 8s are tricky. Well, I know 3 eighths is 24. So if 3 eighths is 24, then 6 eighths should be twice 24, and that gets me to 48, doesn't it? So that means 6 times 8 has to be 48. Oh, almost messed it up. Has to be 48, right? Then 8 times 3, well, that's 16, isn't it? No, it's not, Mr. Sexton. 8 times 3 is 24, isn't it? Thank you for correcting me. It's always helpful. You got to keep an eye on me. Now, 8 times 2, that's 16. And I'm done with my 8. Now, 9 times, oh no, 9s again? Well, still, even if you don't know your 9s, you can always say that 10 sixes is 60. So 9 sixes has to be 60 minus 6, and that gets me to 54, doesn't it? So that means 54. Wait, that's a 90. I need a 0, don't I? So that's 54. 9 times 3, that's 21. And then 9 times 2, that's just 18. And I've got my second partial product. Now, as long as I keep these nice and lined up, it really should be just as simple as adding these up now. 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's the same as 3 times 4, isn't it? That's 12. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, And that gives me a total product of 22,528. And that's all there is to lesson 12. We're just going to rehearse this. I know it's not the funnest thing in the world, but it's kind of like if you're on a soccer team and you have to run foot drills. This is just something you do to sharpen your skills so that when you need this, you won't have to think about it. You'll be able to just do it, right? So that's it for mini lesson 12. If you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you in class. Thanks.